When he shall die, take him and cut him out into little stars, and he would make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with the night. The truest form of immortality is the passing of one's tale as a legend throughout time, and that, dear patron, is where you shall find me. Though an orator is liable to take liberties with how they craft their stories, bringing forth a new tale for every mouth that speaks it. The tale of the revenant of the amphitheater is amongst those in the flux of memory and hearsay, ghost stories to bring entertainment to the world. In the Book of Evermetal, one would proclaim that Bartles Montresor resides in the realm of the dead and of night, known as Darkhaven in those parts, ever loyal to the almighty Night King that rules on behalf of his fallen father Raziel. It is in this dismal realm where your humble bard held the illustrious title of a Dark Guardian amongst a small council of soul-bound entities that ensure the safety of our bloodthirsty king. As a fellow Avatach, or vampire if you prefer, lacking faith in a violent age of planet Alima, Bartles was drawn to his soul's embrace after being enslaved by a cruel warlord in the land of the living, and made to perform for his entertainment. Yet, all know that a caged bird longs for freedom, to bring mirth and merriment wherever their wings may take them. And I, for one, shall take flight by my own hand, even if such a fate brings me to the bottom of a pool of acid, melting away my mortal form, so that my specter can roam free. However, should you speak to a cultured or haunted individual on the streets of Candlekeep, you will once again be enlightened to a different tale of woe and misery. It started long ago, when the most important people I've ever known and I came into town following the cacophony of a calliope and the sincere cry of my violin, making our presence known under a striped circus tent. Oh, you couldn't find a more earnest band of theatrical geniuses and daring performers to hold Lord Euphonius in their hearts. I will let you in on a secret, dear listener, lost to time, but you would not speak the name of Lucky Jack McCabe to the copper-starved thespians of the world. This is but your one warning. I shall only fulfill the consequences to the highest of my capabilities. After all, one would not find it wise to upset either of my parents. But, as thou may have pondered, it is a truth that goes beyond the limits of a page and would be dismissed as cheap gossip to the unworthy. Little Lucky Jack did not take handouts. Nay, he earned his place among these entertainers by his oh-so-stunning performances and his haunting melodies that echoed throughout the night. And the mystery of why some would look into their mirrors and see not themselves, but the ghostly visage of myself staring back at them, intrigued and kept me fresh in the minds of all near me, even if my pale skin was not as fresh. All, save for me, could bask in my glow, for my direct form cast no reflection. We had gained entrance to Candlekeep with memoirs we had penned over our travels, over old flames and hearts our own could not let go of. At this time, I went by my true name, of course, and so I will now speak in my old voice. Oh, the audiences could not get enough of the show. Gluttons for entertainment they were, with a rainstorm of rose petals gracing us each night. Complacency is a hard thing to come by in vagabonds like ourselves, especially as I started the early part of my undead existence at 20 in their company. A family made by bonds, and thus, it couldn't be helped when we received that letter. Addressed to the Montresor Traveling Circus. I still remember every cursed word inscribed in the crimson ink. Greetings to the most prestigious band of bards who ever grace this undeserving world. One hopes this letter finds you well,
For how can one truly expect angels to receive a humble servant's plea on papyrus in the heavens where you all belong? Should miracles be possible to one so undeserving of your talents as myself, then I will be vindicated when my hand exchanges the riches I've been blessed by Polyphagia with into your superior hands in the company of the many trees that make up the cloak woods, where you will find me. Oh, how foolish I am to try and call upon such gilded guardians of the arts by page when my family is ill and about to perish in but 2 days? Perhaps it is in guilt and grief that I write to you now, for I could not take them in their state to Candlekeep to witness true perfection before they left this mortal coil. So, it is with a heavy heart I end this note upon my own catharsis. Ever yours, Joe Stonebrew.
If only I had known then what I knew now, perhaps fate could have turned the wheel in my favor. But alas, the Montresors were captivated by each damned word, despite never once in our journey had we come across an eloquent goblin of this caliber. Yet Kirby, Roisin, Fiona, Sean, and the man formerly known as Bartles all shared such a distasteful greed looking back on the whole affair, and ventured forth with great haste to the Cloakwoods to find this Stonebrew clan. The woods were quiet that night, all except for the crackling of the flames from within the tent, and the screams that soon followed as someone had tried to ensure not one soul would leave with their body intact. The assassin who sent this note was not as clever as they seemed, however, as they severely underestimated my fortitude and elusiveness, for I was held back but a moment, though I cannot say the same for nearly all of the Montresors. The night sky filled with smoke, blocking the blood moon above, which called forth the attention of a goblin who trekked swiftly through the wood to the scene of the crime. As the flames consumed the wounded inside, I stopped the green-skinned creature before his arms could let loose the water from the bucket he carried, with an ever-important question on my lips escaping. Are you Joe Stonebrew? You could taste the panic and confusion in the air as he uttered the words that damned his life to one lacking mercy. It's almost too cruel that a goblin fits the length of a rapier so well. At that moment, I felt my vengeance justified. Until I heard the chuckling of the jester, Bartles Montresor, behind me. You know, perhaps Euphonius could forgive my excited mind, forgetting the crimson pen Bartles kept on his person for special occasions. A family did certainly become angels that night, fit for heavens above. The illness just happened to be a snake in the guise of one I considered my brother. Now, friends, you may be wondering why my beloved colleague would do such a despicable thing. Did he feel that in the wake of tragedy, a solo career would flourish? Had one of his own slighted him in some unseen way that only his mind could perceive? Or was it merely a test of his guile? That is a secret that even I do not know. But as I made the easiest decision of my life with the blade in hand, it is one that shall die with him, much like the name Lucky Jack McHale. The flames roared in acknowledgement of my actions. Perhaps even the pits of hell wanted to give an ovation as I threw his corpse like a rose back into the pit. After all, I am a people pleaser and I love to get back to the fans. But Scodonices should have no need for the clothes I absconded with, nor with the name that traitor no longer earned. Perhaps that solo career notion had some merit to it. I called upon whatever dark forces would answer to trade for the former Bartles' life for the life of Joe Stonebrew in return. Silence. I took this new persona, along with my blade, and left a sigh when I picked it up over the loss of camaraderie I had known most of my immortal life, and headed back to Candlekeep under the blood moon. Then suddenly, behind me, a scurrying almost made my heart beat again. But when I turned around, where did the little goblin go and his bucket? After at least 528 years, I know for certain that Joe is living some mockery of what life once was for him, and not a day goes by that I don't pity the poor fool. I found my way into Candlekeep with a new story to give to the collective, one that spoke of family, of betrayal, of justice, and the restless spirit that would soon inhabit the catacombs of this great town. So, my friend, until I can put Joe's soul to rest, keep your senses about you, should you make your way below the surface into unending darkness that leads to a simple, charming, and chilling theater, where if misfortune is your friend, then you will disturb the owner before the performance is prepared. Or, should you wish to bring harm to the studious cleric that resides in these depths, understand it is not they who shall suffer wrath that night. After all, we all have our needs, and your blood shall make such an excellent feast for me tonight, where your fleeting life shall last just long enough to regret the day you crossed the revenant of the amphitheater.